Heyo, I'm April and this is Alt Life Yoga. I'm coming at you today from Melbourne, Australia, where I'm finally living in the back patio garden right now because it's super cold and windy and all of the neat places I thought I'd film just didn't quite work out. So here we are. If things start to sound a little bit fuzzy, my apologies. I'm going to work on some better arrangements for this in the future, but I wanted to get something out there. I've been taking a lot of classes around the city lately. I've been taking a lot of really awesome classes and experiencing a lot of really great things with a lot of great teachers. But I've been noticing that there's some different ways of cueing and practicing here. Definitely a lot of people who are very into, like your own body, your own practice, that sort of thing, all of the same stuff that I usually talk about. But I've heard some very strange ideas that we should all be trying to do certain things in transitions, and some of it's kind of limiting. So I'll kind of go through a bit of that, but I want to touch on one of my favorite yoga jokes, or one of my favorite jokes that I apply to yoga because I'm that kind of person. How do you put an elephant in a refrigerator? You take the refrigerator, you open up the door, you put the elephant inside, and you shut the door. Fair enough, right? Things can be really simple, and you can be capable of so much more than you ever would imagine. So how do you put a giraffe in the refrigerator? Well, you have to take the elephant out first. Because even though we can do wonderful, crazy, wild things, sometimes there's still reasonable limitations. You're not going to fit both a giraffe and an elephant in your refrigerator. And sometimes when you have both hands on the ground, you're just not going to be able to put your feet in certain places. So I'll go over that transition. I'll go over a little bit of notes about that in just a moment. Do you recall there's a popular statement of Albert Einstein's that we all actually have these wonderful moments of genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to fly, it will live its whole life thinking that it's stupid. Not all of us are birds. Not all of us are fish. Not all of us are able to do perfect step throughs, and it has to do a lot with like the length and the distance of our arms and our legs and just the way that your body is engineered. But really, this practice is about you feeling really good and learning to use your body and get connected with your body, not about doing things exactly how the person next to you does it or the instructor says that you should be doing it. I mean, you want to listen to your instructors, but there's still an element to which our own experiences guide everything that we do. So if you're taking class with a super flexible person who has no idea that it's actually difficult for you to get into child's pose, let it go. Breathe through it. Find an alternative. Relax. And this is you doing you. So I will see you on the mat in just a moment. And while we're doing that transition, go ahead right now and click subscribe. And then make sure you leave me lots of comments when you're done and let me know what you thought about what we were doing here today. I had a lot more things that I wanted to do in this practice, but again, cold, not ideal transitions. So I got some good stuff for getting into handstand and headstand that I want to go over in the coming weeks. So make sure you tell me how excited you are for that to be happening. And let's practice, shall we? So before we get started, go ahead and take a look at your arm, the length of it. You're going from like shoulder to wrist. And then check out the length of your shin. So if I put my wrist on the inside, around my ankle, around my heel, and then I look at where my shoulder is, it pretty much lines up exactly with my knee. And some of us might have variances of this. Sometimes you might have your arm a lot longer than your leg. Sometimes your arm might be a lot shorter than this part of your leg, but I've got pretty long limbs and I'm still hitting like right at knee, shoulder, hand, foot. So there's often this cue that I hear when I'm taking classes. Teachers will say, well, try to take your leg and put it in between your hands without moving your palms from the floor. And it's like, well, I can't. I only get here. Right? If I don't move my hands, you can come through and that's all I get. But if I come through and I just move my fingertips a little bit and lengthen that space, then I can get my foot forward. So it's kind of like magic. Or really it's just like paying attention to bodies and the way that they work. So again, when I take this leg forward, The most I can do is get my thigh up to my belly and my knee forward and put my foot here. And then when I come up, I have like a warrior one that's only about this long, or a lunge that's only this long. And that's kind of limiting. But if I take my hands down and I just make a little bit of a transition to move my fingertips up, or maybe even just to move up on my fingertips, I can still get my leg a lot further forward and then come up into a nice longer lunge. So give that a try next time you're moving through these sequences, is to try to actually move the hand that you're trying to move that leg through. And then also, you're bearing a little bit more weight on the other arm, building up a little bit more strength, and your practice might become a whole lot smoother. So we'll begin this practice in child's pose, widening the knees enough to rest your body in between your thighs and rest your forehead on the floor. And in fact, start rolling your forehead side to side so that you start to feel a little bit of a massage into that. And notice that as you move your head, you're going to start to feel your neck moving, maybe your shoulders shifting side to side, and that this will move your ribs and your waist and your hips. You'll start to feel this serpentine sort of moving and swaying, and there's not a wrong way to do this. There's just moving around. You'll start to feel your breath moving, changing the way that this movement feels in your body, and then starting to make these movements bigger. Your head might start to lift, and you'll start eventually pulling yourself up in a table pose, taking some side to side movements. Again, this serpentine, slithery sort of space. Eventually settling down in a little bit more of a neutral tabletop position. So we're going to start right away with this drawing in and drawing outwards. We'll take outwards into extended tabletop, right arm forward, left leg back, and pull in towards the midline. Feel the palm pressing in, the inner thigh pulling in. On your exhale, spread out, awkward airplane. And then on your inhale, draw it back. Exhale, push it out. A couple more times. Inhale, push it in. Exhale, push it out. And keeping the spine long, keeping the low belly lifted, continuing with your breath. And then one more time, breathing in. Exhale, moving out. And then come back into the middle, really push it into the center, lift up away from the floor, and take your hand and knee down to the floor. We'll switch to the other side. Left arm forward, right leg back. Drawing in, breathing in, exhale, pushing outwards. Inhale. Exhale. And you could, of course, always do this with just the arm or just the leg. Maybe you do a bent leg, and you find it a little bit easier to maneuver that way. Maybe try this one more time, pushing in. Exhale, spreading it out, and then drawing back to center, lifting up away from the floor, and then taking your hands and knees down. Now go ahead and curl your toes under. We'll press right back into downward facing dog. And go ahead and shift and settle into this, walking your dog, feeling the outsides of the hips and the calves, getting a nice good stretch. And then eventually coming into a little bit more stillness, where you'll let the head hang down, the heels drop towards the floor, and grounding each and every knuckle in the hands down into your mat. So what I'm going to do here is feel the outsides of your shins rolling to the floor and the insides of your thighs lifting up. You see how this is lengthening through the legs and also lifting up through the hips so that the hips roll forward a little bit more over the tops of the thighs. This will release the heart. And you're going to feel your triceps rolling down. Your biceps, the fronts of your arms, imagine you could pull those right up into your collarbones. So I've got a little bit of lift out of my shoulder joint and a little bit more engagement through the muscles that wrap around the shoulders and the arms. And take 2 deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. And then take your right leg back. You'll lift up, pulling in through that midline. Look forward. We're going to start that stepping through. You're going to move your shin as far forward as you can, and then you might have to come up on the fingertips to bring your right foot forward. Go ahead and lower the left knee. Now still, if your foot only got back here, just grab the ankle, give that another extra little scooch, and we'll take the hands up onto the thigh. So from here, rolling your shoulders back, letting your hips drift forward, and lifting up just slightly through the low belly so that you have your abdominals supporting your lift here. taking your left arm up. We'll take a little bit of a side bend over to the right. Now relax your bicep towards your collarbone, and you might notice that space up here. So if you have it pulling out, it can be a little bit crunchy here. Just drop it towards the collarbone. One more breath in. Exhale, take the hand down to the floor. We'll take a little twist, reaching the right arm up. Now you're going to open up through the chest, moving out that way, but pull the inner thighs in towards each other. One more breath in. Exhale, take both hands down. Curl the left toes under. You might have to come up on your fingertips, or you might be able to scoop that heel in towards your bum, and then stretch the right leg out behind you. Pull the inner thighs towards each other to square the hips, and go ahead and set your right foot down on the floor. Take a couple breaths here, pushing down into your palms, relaxing the outsides of your shins, drawing up through the inner thighs, biceps to collarbones, head hangs down. One more deep breath in. Exhale. Taking your left leg up, again drawing in through the middle. That'll help to keep the hips even, look forward. You'll start by drawing this knee up towards your chest. So you do want to close this gap as much as you can. And then you'll move the hand if that's what helps you be able to get this foot forward. Again, ankle scooching, whatever you need in the meantime. Place the palms on your thigh, relax into the hips, lift the heart and the low belly. Maybe relax the hips a little bit further forward, then take your right arm up. Go ahead and start by relaxing the bicep to the collarbone, and then taking this side stretch over towards the left. So the more I push my front foot down, the steadier I am. Still lifting up through the low belly. Of course, wanting to be strong and flexible, doing those things together. Finish your exhale. Then take the right arm up, down to the floor, and move your left arm open as you twist open towards your left thigh. Rolling into the shoulder blades so that they come together, lifting your heart, but again, peeling, pulling in through those inner thighs, so that we're drawing in and pushing outwards. Deep breath in. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor. Curl the right toes under. Scoop that left thigh up into your belly, stretch it all the way back, three-legged dog, pulling in through the inner thighs. Go ahead and set that left foot down. And take a couple of breaths here. Breathing in, pushing down into the floor. Exhale, releasing the heels. Inhale, drawing up through the inner thighs. Exhale, relaxing through the heart and the head. One more time, breathe in, biceps, collarbones. Exhale, big loud sigh. And then look to your hands. You're going to take one foot and then the other foot. Notice I adjust my fingertips a little bit in order to come up here into this fold. And then bend into your knees, kind of bounce and bobble, head it out a little bit so that there's no tension in the neck. And you're going to feel, once again, these inner outer shins pulling down and the inner thighs pulling up. And you might not have straight legs, they might be very bent, but you can still feel this outer shin, inner thigh, and then it'll allow the pelvis to roll forward on top of the thighs. Maybe grab elbows and relax your neck, your head to your breath. And one more breath in. Deep breath out. And keeping your knees slightly bent, stretch your heart forward, open it up, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway up. Exhale, fold all the way down. And stand all the way up. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands come down into your heart. So we're going to come open into this horse stance. I'm going to take your arms, and as you breathe in, you're going to push it in here. Inhale as you're drawing everything inside. Exhale, pull it all out. I'm sitting nice and low. Inhale, push it in. Exhale, pull it all out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Exhale. Then straighten into your legs. We're going to turn the right toes in, bend deep into the left leg. Lift up, peaceful warrior, and soften this right bicep down towards your collarbone. Open up that front knee, breathe it in. Exhale. One more deep breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Keep the arms steady as you straighten the legs. Switch to the other side. Left toes in, right toes face towards the back of your mat. Get nice and low in that lunge. Press your shoulders, your palms down. Peaceful warrior, lifting and peeling towards the sky. One more deep breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Go ahead and straighten both legs. Turn all 10 toes to face towards the side of your mat. And forward fold. Releasing your head, shaking it, maybe bobblehead again. And then pushing the outer shins down, drawing the inner thighs up, maybe releasing a little bit further forward into your fold. And pushing down strong into your feet. You'll feel this drawing in again of those inner thighs, and we're going to radiate outwards through the heart. So we'll open up into a twist towards the right side. You might even come up onto fingertips if that helps. The knees don't have to be completely straight. Really open that right collarbone, spread open your heart, breathe in, exhale, coming down. Switching to the other side, left arm lifts up. Opening up the chest, drawing the inner thighs towards each other. Maybe tossing the head back gently so that you can lift your gaze towards the ceiling. One more breath in. Exhale, fold it down. Bend your knees slightly, hands to your hips. Use your underfoot, stand all the way up. And then we'll look back to the front of the mat, stepping the feet together. Sun salutations, take a deep breath in, lift the heart up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Halfway lift, stretch forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to the top of your plank. Lifting through the inner thighs, moving the heart forward. Exhale, lowering down halfway. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, lifting from the belly. Downward facing dog. Deep breath out. Looking forward, stepping your feet back to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway up. Folding down as you exhale, rolling the hips over the thighs. Stand all the way up. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the heart. Two more times, breathing in, lifting up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Planting the hands, stepping back, top of your plank. You could always do this on your knees. If you're on your toes, keep the inner thighs lifted, halfway down, open chest, open the heart up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release the heart and the heels. In the space in between, look forward. Bring your feet up to your hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, fully folding down. Inhale, standing all the way up. Exhale, hands into your heart. One more time. This time, perhaps jumping back. So when you jump back, exhale, fold down. Lift the spine. Jumping back, you'll go straight into chaturanga. So come into the bent arms, open chest. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And if you're not jumping, if you feel like that's just not a part of your practice today, then you'll step back and lower down through a vinyasa in whichever way feels really good in your body. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Looking forward. Maybe this time you can bend the knees, lift the heels, and this might create a little bit more space for you to step a foot forward, or you can pounce your feet forward into a fold. Inhale, lengthening the spine when you get there, folding down, exhale, standing all the way up. Exhale, hands take down here. Oh wow. Oh. Take another deep breath and lift your arms up and go ahead and sit back into chair pose. So what often affects our placement in chair pose is the actual bone alignment in our ankles. I cannot get much farther than this with my shins and my feet because my bones start hitting each other. So anything else that I'm getting in a chair has to involve sitting back, and it also makes it hard for me to keep my toes on the floor. So if you feel like your chair just doesn't get very low whenever you're in class, your neighbors is like butt to the floor, then they might have a longer Achilles. They might also have a different bone alignment, just slightly. We're all built a little bit differently. Yes, I know you're still there. Lift your inner thighs, lift your chest, deep exhale. Now stand all the way up, lifting from the inner thighs, lifting your chest. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Halfway up, nice breath in. Plant your hands. Exhale, either stepping straight back into down dog or stepping back to the top of your plank, or maybe deep breath in, lifting up halfway. Exhale, planting your hands maybe back to plank down dog or chaturanga. From chaturanga, moving into your back bend, downward facing dog. Lifting from the inner thighs, relaxing the outer heels. You'll keep the hips somewhat even as you stretch the right leg back. Look forward. We're going to bring that right foot up, moving the right hand a little bit to make room. Take the left heel down, take both arms up, warrior one. So I've been focusing a lot on trying to bring this front hip back, and what I'm finding this does is that it's not really doing anything. We're kind of just moving the placement of the hips and not really getting really good alignment. So your sits bone right in the center of your tush, I want you to think of pushing that out through the front of your kneecap. And then we also have the knee more in line, and we get a little bit deeper into the lunge, often pulling this hip back, brings us back here. So sits bone through the kneecap. Breathing in, warrior one. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. Top of your plank from here, down dog or forward to chaturanga. Up dog. And then lifting through the belly, downward facing dog. Outer shins down, inner thighs up, left leg up. Looking forward, making the space, adjusting your body so that you can come up into a nice long warrior one. Again, ankle scooching, whatever you need. So relax your shoulders, pull the biceps into your collarbones. It's going to free your chest a bit. Sits bone right in the middle of your tush, right through that front knee. Nice and long. One more deep breath in. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. Open up your chest. Exhale, down dog, chaturanga, your choice. And moving through however many or however little of these push-ups that you like. One more deep breath in. Biceps to the collarbones, release your heart. Look forward, step or pounce your way up to your hands. Halfway lift, folding down, exhale. We're going to sit all the way back, seeing how deep we can get the butt back in the chair. So I know that I just cannot get my shins to go anywhere closer to the tops of my feet. There's bone hitting. I don't feel any stretch right here. It's bone on bone compression. So I'm going to get down as deep as I can, push my butt back, and lift up a little bit in the low belly, softening the backs of my shoulders. Biceps into the collarbones, feeling that space open up. Breathing in. Exhale. Standing all the way up. And then releasing, hands at the heart. A little bit more flow. Take the deep breath in. Folding down, exhale. Inhale, halfway up. I'll meet you back in downward dog. Remember that this vinyasa, this chaturanga or push-up sequence is always optional. So inhale, inner thighs pulling together, look forward, find your way with the right foot up to the front of your mat. Take the left heel down, come up warrior one. We're going to feel that sits bone releasing into the kneecap. Take one more breath in, and then open up warrior two. Again, sits bone to the kneecap. It's going to keep that knee facing forward. And breathing in, breathing out. One more time, inhale, brighten and lift your chest. Then your exhale, windmill the hands down, step back, top of your plank, down dog or vinyasa. Lifting up through the body, rooting through all 10 fingers. On your next inhale, right through the middle, stretching your left leg back up, looking forward, making space to step it through. Warrior one. Both hips moving forward, sits bone moving through that front kneecap. Breathing in. Warrior two. Hips facing to the side, but your sits bone moving through that front kneecap. And a couple of breaths. Challenging yourself to stay open, to stay long, to stay low and strong. Deep breath in. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, take the hands down. I'll meet you back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And looking forward. Step or float your feet up to your hands. Halfway up, inhale. Down, exhale. All the way up. Lifting through the middle and settling the hands down at the heart. One more little flow, reaching up. Exhale, sitting back into your chair, pushing back until you feel that maximum amount. You'll get your tush back. Lifting up. Exhale, folding forward. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, plant the hands. I'll meet you in downward dog. Open your chest. Curl the toes, push back. We'll lift the right leg up. Looking forward, stepping up. Warrior one as you turn the back heel back and push that front sits bone to the front knee. One more breath in. Exhale, warrior two. You're going to turn all of your toes to face towards the side as you lift your arms, straighten both legs. Exhale, turn the left toes back, warrior two to the back of your mat. Sits bone through the kneecap. Inhale, all 10 toes to the side, lift up straight legs. Exhale, sits bone to the right kneecap as you bend into that right leg. Make sure to adjust your toes. Inhale, through center, high pyramid. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. We're drawing up and in. We're pressing down and out. Last time, through the side, back to the front. Then straighten this right leg, pull the inner thighs in, push down into the feet as you open through more triangle pose. Deep breath in. Exhale, both hands come down, step back, plank pose or moving through a vinyasa. Deep breath in, biceps to the collarbones. Exhale, release your heart and heels. Inhale, left leg up. Looking forward, coming into warrior one. On that left side, sits bone to kneecap. Warrior two. Softening shoulders, sits bones to kneecap. And then take both sets of toes, both feet, both legs straight up to the side. Warrior two, back of your mat. Inhale, center, lifting in. Exhale, pushing it out. Think about that sits bone to kneecap. Lifting it up, taking it to the back of the mat. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale. One more time each side. Lifting up to the middle, taking it to the back. Inhale. Exhale, adjusting those toes. This time straighten the front leg, drawing up and away from the floor, spreading out through the heart. Lifting up through your right armpit, maybe the gaze comes up that way. Strong grounded feet. One more inhale. Exhale, take both hands down. Step back. Last time through vinyasa or skip it. We'll meet back in down dog. And then look forward. This time, maybe you can step or pounce to a seat. You can take the feet up and then sit your bum back. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together. Hold on to the ankles and feel the chest lift up. So this is a pretty strong shape. It requires that we have a lift in through the middle and then also not lifting up the middle of our legs, but letting those push outwards. Notice my chest opened up more the more I was able to open my thighs to the side. One more breath in. Exhale. And then take your fingertips behind your back. So you're going to use this to lift your body up a little bit more. Now again, we all have different arrangements of how our thigh bones are situated in our hips, all different arrangements of how our muscles and our joints are all set up. So for some of us, it's very easy to start bringing the body forward here and maybe even having knees even more towards the floor than mine. For some of us, the idea of being able to put your fingertips on the floor and lift you up is this wonderful revelation of spine length that you didn't know was possible in such a shape. So this is where you stay, and this is where you find the work. It's about the sensation. It's not about having the exact same shape as whatever is in a book or a magazine or some show or YouTube video that you're watching of some girl in her backyard. This is about you opening up your body. One more breath in. One more breath out. And then we'll come into a forward fold. So having the legs out in front, I get a lot better forward fold. I mean, we all get a little bit more space if we have our legs really wide. Try to have your feet, maybe you can even test, about 2 fist width distance apart. That way your thigh bones have a little bit of separation. You might have a little bit of room to roll forward. You're going to take the tush back. And if the outer parts of your shins pulling up, pushing out, and then the inner thighs pulling in. And as I feel that, even though I'm not standing on those feet, I still feel that same engagement, that lift to my spine. So I might start with my fingertips back here, just so I can start to work up and feel the length in the spine. And then I might be able to bring, with that same length, my fingertips in front of the hips. And then you might still find that you can get a little bit more room. And I want you to start off by just feeling that you're lengthening the spine forward, because the more that we're lengthening and pulling the waist forward, we're going to start to have this rolling of the hip bones over the tops of the thigh bones. And I'm a forward folder, but it's pretty chilly, so I'm even noticing my knees are lifting up a little bit and bending as I'm going into this. And again, it's totally fine. This is about lengthening the backs of the legs, the backs of the hamstrings, which are still getting length even with your knees back, and also about having a long, straight spine. One more breath in. One more breath out. Now go ahead and soften forward over your legs. Make sure that you're softening forward, not softening back. You want to feel this continuous rolling of that pelvic wheel forward over your thighs. So you might be holding onto the backs of your calves. Maybe you've got ankles. Maybe you can take the hands closer to your feet. And you're still feeling this rolling forward. I want you to picture that there is a wheel turning in your hips up towards your thigh bones, maybe getting you down deeper into your fold, even by minuscule amounts as you breathe. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Start to lift up. But one more little back bend before we close out this practice. And of course, based on what we're talking about, fish pose. A fish that is not trying to fly, just a fish that is trying to lift up and be open into the sunshine that I'm hoping comes back out today. You might stay here up on forearms, just letting the head move back, lifting up through the middle of your ribs like you've been hooked with fishing wire. Maybe the elbows come further forward and the crown of the head touches the floor. A lot of people really enjoy having hands underneath the bum here. They feel like it helps them. I feel like the tops of my shoulders lift up when I do, so I like having hands apart. I feel like I can open my chest more. If you've been taught differently or you feel differently in this shape, then you do you. One more little lift, lengthening, drawing in through the spine, and then widen your elbows, lift your chin, and settle down onto the mat. Wiggle your heels out, and you widen the legs a little bit. The shoulders slid out from behind the back. You can draw them back in so the chest is open. Let your palms face up, let your toes flap open. Just stay here as long as you like. Breathing, settling, giving yourself a very well-deserved rest at the end of your practice. When you do feel ready to move out of your Shavasana and close your practice, please be sure to move slowly and softly and carefully with yourself. I want to thank you for engaging in this practice, for examining the body, for examining our experience in these shapes together, bowing down to this incredible light that lives within each of your hearts.